Hello, my name is Richard Weitz. I'm a senior fellow and director of the Center for Political Military Analysis here at the Hudson Institute. Today, December 8th, we're here going to talk about the status of the strategic arms reduction talks between Russia and the United States. As people are aware, on December 4th, the START treaty expired as of midnight. This treaty, which was signed in 1991, basically regulates the number of offensive strategic weapons that Russia and the United States may have. These are the long-range strategic bombers and missiles that can basically fly from one country to another. They're intercontinental range. This treaty is considered to have been important not only because of the reductions, because it has a series of verification and compliance measures to ensure that they are being carried out. The two governments have been negotiating for several years, but particularly since April, to try and have a replacement treaty in the works before this expiration took place. As it was, they both issued statements saying that even though the treaty had expired, they're working hard to obtain a replacement, and they intend to follow, basically adhere to the guidelines and principles inherent in the START treaty. That said, they were not able to agree even on a bridging mechanism, some kind of agreement that would allow them to verify compliance while they waited for the new treaty to enter into force. As far as we can tell, the sides have made significant progress in certain issues. For example, President Obama's decision to restructure European missile defense plans of the United States has allowed Russia basically not to focus on the question of missile defense in this treaty. So there'll probably be some kind of statement in the preamble that it's important, but there won't be any formal restrictions in the treaty requiring the United States not to deploy certain kinds of missile defenses. In addition, they've decided not to address the question of non-strategic nuclear weapons. These are what are known as the sort of suitcase bombs, the tactical nuclear weapons that Russia has far more of than the United States. This will probably be dealt with in a future round of negotiations. They've come very close on the numbers they will probably want to see. The expectations are the treaty might allow each side to have, say, 1,500 strategic nuclear warheads. There's still a big difference on the number of delivery systems. That's the missiles, the planes, and so on that each side could have. Russia basically wants the treaty to have about allow each side 500. The United States wants to have basically double that amount. It's really a different way in which the two countries treat these systems. When the Russians tend to retire systems and eliminate them when they reach the end of their age, where the United States often switches them over to use for conventional forces, such as what we've seen in the B-1s, or simply just reduces the number of warheads per system, but basically upgrades the software and keeps the system going. They'll probably reach some kind of agreement and split the difference, end up with about 800 systems, particularly if the rules are changed so that the United States you only have to count the number of warheads the United States actually has, rather than the old principle of saying, well, every Trident submarine has blank number of warheads. The two areas, though, where they seem to be hung up on, the first one is, as I mentioned, this difference over strategic systems. The number of strategic systems, that seemed to be well to being resolved. But the more serious one is the question of verification. And that's the main purpose of the START treaty, to ensure that both sides can see what the others are doing, transparency, not have to worry about a breakout of a treaty. The United States is pushing for more verification principles than the Russians would like. For example, the Russians don't want to have on-site inspectors anymore at their missile plants. This is going to be a tricky issue, but still the expectation is that there'll be some kind of agreement within the next few weeks, and then the question will be whether the Duma and the U.S. Senate will ratify the agreement, and that I'll talk about at a future session. Thank you.